So today we're going to create a simple two-view drawing of a two-sided dice. We're going to learn some simple stuff like creating some layers, how to offset lines and trim views, and things along those lines. So let's get started. This is going to be a video for my exploratory class, so all my exploratory members that are watching this, please make sure to follow along, back up, rewind wherever you need, pause the video as needed. And we'll get through this and learn some techniques in AutoCAD here. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to, with our AutoCAD screen open, go up here and hit this little plus sign here to open a new drawing. With our left mouse button, that should open up this drawing just like this. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to set up some layers, because those layers are going to sort of simulate the way that we would create something if we were drawing on, say, like a drafting board years ago, before these drawings were made on computers. The nice thing that I really like about AutoCAD is that it actually is designed in the same way, creating things in the same way that you would have created them on a drafting board years ago. So first thing we'll do is we'll go up to the top here, we'll click on Layer Properties. That's going to open up this Layer Properties screen. I want you to right click right in this little section here and hit New Layer. And I want you to make a layer called Construction. Let's see what I'm doing a little bit easier. Alright, so now I have my construction layer here, and what I'd like you to do is adjust the color by double clicking where it says white. And for your construction layer, I want you to pick one of these grays. Okay, one of these grays right here. They're going to be a little bit less noticeable. They're going to simulate like the light lines you would draw initially when you're creating things. So I'll pick this one right here, and we'll hit OK, and I'll set that color as my layer color. The next thing I want you to do is right click again, hit one more layer, and this one we're going to name Objects. Alright, if for some reason you accidentally select out of there before you're finished, you can always right click and hit rename. So for your object layer, I want you to double click on the color again, and this time I want you to pick, other than gray, your favorite color that you see, or just a color you're like, that's a cool color. My favorite color is red, but I kind of like this one at the end here. It's kind of like a neon red. So we'll go ahead and pick that one. You can pick whatever color you like, and we'll hit OK. So now those layers are set up, we can hit this tiny little X in the top left corner. So your layers are going to show up under this drop down right up here. So we're going to click on that. We're going to go to the construction layer first. Alright, now the way to use AutoCAD, you can select things up here and go through these little ribbon bar options like you see in most programs now. But the fastest way, in my opinion, to run AutoCAD is to type things. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a line, but we're going to make it a infinite line. All right, on our construction layer. So what I want you to type is XL, and you'll see that XLINE will be the top option. So once you type XL, go ahead and hit enter. And then normally we would try and create it like at the XY coordinate 0, but we're just going to create it in the center of the screen this time. So what I'd like you to do is somewhere in the middle of your screen, I want you to left click and slide over so you get a nice locked in horizontal line like so. And click, and then slide again, create a vertical line like we're creating like a graph. Alright, now when you're done doing that, hit the escape button in the top left of your keyboard, and it will exit out. Now let's say you accidentally created an extra line. Okay, and that can happen. That's very easy to get rid of. Okay, once you hit escape, and you'll know that you're out of it, as you can see down here, the command says cancel, meaning you've canceled out of the command. You're like, oh no, I got this extra line. What do I do with it? So there's two ways you can get rid of it. One easy way is you hit E, enter. For erase, we select it, and then we hit enter again. Now the other way we can do it is without doing any commands. We can click it, it'll turn blue, and then we'll just hit delete on our keyboard, and it'll go away too. Okay. So now what we're going to do, and the two-sided die that we're creating, by the way, looks like so. All right, and we're going to create all of our horizontal lines of this first. All right, I'm going to give you all the directions. You don't have to do any math. All right, so first we're going to use a command called offset. And in order to use offset, we're going to type O. Offset's going to jump right to the top, so it gives you your command in the parentheses like before. And it says we only have to type O. It'll even tell you if you hover over it what it does. So we'll hit O, hit enter, and it's going to say give me a distance to offset. Now the first distance we offset is going to be 1. So we're going to type the number 1. We're going to hit enter. We're going to come down here. We're going to take our tiny little square here. We're going to left click the horizontal line. We're going to move up, click again. Now I have 2 lines. We're going to pick the top line. We're going to click, move up, click again. And then lastly, we're going to click that top line one more time, move up, and we're going to click again. And now we have 4 lines. Okay, now I'll show you a nice shortcut. So let's say we want to use this offset command again, but we want to exit out so we can change the dimension. All right, so hit your space bar. You'll see that'll cancel out. But then if you hit space bar again, we're right back in it. All right, and this time I want you to type 1.5 and hit enter. Once you do that, pick this vertical line, click, move to the right, click, and you have this sort of setup here, okay, where we have 4 lines crossing 2 lines. All right, so go ahead and hit escape, and we'll get out of that. Okay, now the next thing we're going to do is the 2-sided die has a round on the left of our top view and on the right of our bottom view. But first, let's zoom in so we can actually see what we're doing here. So we're going to zoom in by just putting our cursor right in the middle of all that stuff. We're going to wheel up on the mouse, okay? And if for some reason when you do it, it goes like way off to the side and you're like, oh no, I want it in the middle of my screen. If you click your wheel down like a button and hold it, you'll see this little hand pop up, and then you can drag your screen around, okay? That's called panning. But the mouse will zoom in wherever you put your cursor, okay? Zoom in and zoom out based on where you put that cursor. So I usually zoom in, try and put it where I want it, and then I pan it around, okay? So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and create the outline of our views, all right? So we're going to come up top here. We're going to put our object layer on, and then we're going to type L this time, not XL, just L for line. Hit enter, hover over the corner, click, 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 click. Hit the space bar, hit the space bar again, come over to the bottom, click, 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 click. And then either hit escape or the space bar to get out of there. So now we have the outline of our views. All right, now we have to figure out how to get to the center of our circles, okay? And even though these are 1.5 wide, the center to the circle is 1 inch from each end. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna come back over here. We're gonna type O for offset, hit enter, type 1, hit enter. For the bottom one, we're gonna pick this construction line. We're gonna move over to the right, click. For the top one, we're going to pick this construction line. We're going to move over to the left, click. Okay, now we're going to hit the space bar, hit the space bar again, and type 0.5. Enter. Now we'll take one of these horizontal lines, we'll offset them down, and we'll do the same up here. Okay, and then hit escape or the space bar. Now we're going to make sure we're still on this object layer, and we're going to type C for circle and hit enter. And on the top one, we're going to pick right where these lines cross. That's why we created them. We're going to click that, move over, and click the outside. Then we'll hit spacebar again, or you could type C and hit enter again. It's a little bit slower. We're going to click, move out to the outside, click again. Okay, now we're going to make these shapes look a little bit more like what they actually are. Okay, so once we have these shapes where we need them and we want to trim, we're going to go up here and we're going to turn off our construction layers. Okay, so you're just going to hit this little light bulb and those construction layers go away. Now we're going to type T R for trim, hit enter, and we're going to trim this, trim this, trim this, trim this, and trim that. On the other one, we're going to do the opposite. So we're going to go this side, trim, 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 and then hit escape. So now we have the shape of our two-sided die. So now we'll come back up here, we'll turn our construction. We only have a couple things left to do. Alright, so if you look at my original drawing, we have one circle here that is 0.25 in diameter, and we have two circles here that are 0.25. Alright, so we're going to make sure we're on our object layer. We're going to type C, enter. We're going to pick right here, and then it's going to ask us for a radius. Okay, now I said the diameter was 0.25. We learned in math class that the radius is half of that, so we're going to type 0.125, and we're going to hit enter. There's our circle. Then we're going to have to actually locate where these other ones are. So up here, there's two circles offset 0.1875 up this way and 0.1875 down this way in order to make them 0.375 apart. So we're going to hit O, enter. We're going to type half of 0.375, which is 0.1875. We're going to hit enter. We're going to offset this construction line up, and then we're going to do the same thing, picking the same construction line down. Okay. Now we're going to hit escape. We're going to create a circle, C, enter. We're going to create one right here. We're going to make it 0.125. Now we're going to go ahead and create the other circle. So we can either hit spacebar or type C, enter. We're going to come up, click right here, type 0.125, hit enter. Alright, now all we have left to do is come up here and turn our construction lines off. And we've created the two simple views of the two-sided die. Alright, now the next part we're going to do in the exercise for my group is that this is not currently centered. The center of gravity would be a little biased towards one side or the other, but we're going to go through the exercise of making this roll properly to one side or the other. Thanks for watching.